The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to a brand new year. And of course, it doesn't really matter where you're at, as long as you're here at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, we were looking for some kind of blip in the market, a fairly decent blip. Started looking for it yesterday. Thought we'd get it before Wednesday or by Wednesday. Things looked even worse this morning. It put out a special report for the Tech Insider telling everybody to be incredibly careful if they had any long positions in technology. And, of course, got a wallop today. And part of that was just a total lack of short positions in the market. In fact, going into the first of the year, we've had probably the least amount of short positions by shares over the total market than any time in the last 5 years. May even be more than that, but I looked back 5 years, couldn't find anything. Very, very small amounts of shorting. What we have is a lot of people being short 1 or 2 days, and they'll be short the usual suspects, which is AMD, NVIDIA. They drove both of those up over the last few days. And, of course, those are having the biggest pullbacks because the Consumer Electronics Show started today, and a lot of people were expecting some announcements and really didn't get much in the way of that. The only company actually doing much in the way of announcements was Intel. Didn't look at their stock price, INTC. We shall take a look. Up 28 cents. So actually doing a little bit better than the usual suspects. But yeah, we had a very few short positions, except in a few big name stocks. And those weren't over time. Those were just on a daily basis. A lot of people shorting in the morning only to cover later in the day. The big news, I heard Basil talk about it earlier, and that is the TLT. It's still off 0.5%, but it blew through 146.50, which has been my line in the sand for a while. That would imply that we're going to see a 139, 138-ish print on it, and could go all the way to 136. It looks like the market is starting to believe that we are going to see a Fed that does raise rates, and sooner rather than later. So we've got a little bit of that, but so you got to reprice the entire market on that. Now, of course, there's some things that are interesting. The Dow's up 0.75%, which is very much in stark contrast to an S&P that's actually flat, and a NASDAQ down almost 2% on the day. But again, beginning of the year, you have a lot of sector rotation. A lot of people are looking at some stocks that ran very well. And, of course, all the hoopla about Tesla would give you the idea that maybe there was a double top in that. And they just ran the shorts out on some rather dubious news, which is made me just think a great deal of January of 2000, when everybody was talking about eyeballs. I don't know if you were, how many people were around for the .com bubble and paid attention to it. But instead of making money, everybody talked about eyeballs instead of bottom line. Revenues have a little bit to do with it. But what we saw was going into Friday, Tesla was calling 450,000 cars. And, that's like about half of everything they've made, maybe not quite. But fairly extensive recalls because they've got a lot of problems with their cars. A lot of people are willing, like when Apple has problems, to just ignore it because they're giant fanboys. But when you look at yesterday's price, it puts Tesla at $1 million for every car. Values it for $1 million for every car they delivered this year or last year. And on any kind of rational scale, it's absolutely nuts. I mean, the cars only cost $100,000, so they're saying 9 times, 10 times what the car actually cost. And if you believe the inflated levels of what some people say, they're making 18% margins. The average margin over the last 50 years for cars all over the world is about 8%. That's pretty typical of mass manufacturing kind of consumer products like that. Some are a little bit higher, but of course they're not as much volume. But I think Ford makes like 11% on average on the Ford F-150. And some of the cheaper cars, they make like 7%. But certainly we've got the chart for Tesla up here now. I don't know what someone's doing. But we got an email I see on that now. Could you look at Tesla, please? Well, I've been looking at it, Pete. So it's been up for, a minute or two. But I don't know when you sent your email. So what do we have? Went right back up to the gap, reversed out of it. We had a lot of volume yesterday. Now, is this broken any trend lines to the downside? No. Am I changing my idea that eventually this is a stock that sells for $40? No. But that's what, if you look at it, it's priced to a 35 years of growth already at this price. And that's if nothing bad happens. Everything perfectly goes along. And I don't think it's going to. I think most people have whistled past the graveyard of looking at lithium prices. There isn't enough lithium if these guys are going to continue to use lithium-ion batteries. And, of course, we've seen that even Chevrolet had to recall all its bolts because the company that made its batteries, which is a offshoot of LG, I believe, had to do all of it. But there just isn't that much lithium. I also think that we're doing something really stupid because that lithium could mean thousands of years of power that is too cheap to even meter when it comes to fusion. I kind of hate that we're using it now for something that probably would be better off using fossil fuels. We'll be back after this.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as we return, give me an email. I am back like a bad rash in 2022. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn. And, of course, put a message in the den. But when we're looking at stuff here, did I get to everything? I had some people ask me some questions. But, no, Tesla is still priced bat crap crazy. But you know what? You had companies were total frauds, like Enron, that were priced like that. Of course, I thought maybe iOmega was kind of the big thing of my life. I didn't ever think that we'd see something as ludicrous as Tesla again. But it's not that it's a bad company or even it's a bad car, although it's not a great car. You get enough people. As in fact, I put it down here because I wanted to remember it, because I had 2 questions that kind of butted together. And that was Jim Chanos's statement that in tech, if you're perceived to be changing the world, it's okay to lie to investors and others too, and customers. But with the conviction yesterday of the gal that ran the company into the ground, there's a few things you can do. But you can't lie about testing on human subjects. And I think that was one part of why she got put in jail. The other part is that she went after a handful of very specific investors, and all of these guys were movers and shakers. They were not people that didn't and couldn't call in favors to actually throw her in jail. But, you can lie on technology as long as it's not on healthcare and someone dies, because that changes everything. But with Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos, big difference. But, they lie all the time on Wall Street. But I think that there's a little bit of buyer beware with that. And I think when they got into the healthcare side of it is, well, maybe you shouldn't lie that much. But, of course, we've got many people that talk for the vaccine industrial complex that we can make some fairly good cases that are lying to us now. But I do digress. And again, the trophies, the trophy chest, absolutely full. Again, after the awards ceremony late last year for TFNN's award show. Glad for all the people that I saw there. But it's interesting nonetheless. Anyway, what else we were talking about? Question, I had some people email me about 5G and airplanes because they're trying to make a big deal out of that. 5G signals are fairly close to the radio altimeters. That tells you how far you are up off the ground in the airplane. The big carriers of, I think, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T have all said that they're not going to slow the roll down out of 5G. And one of the reasons is that it's been out for over a year in Europe, and it hasn't caused any problems. There is some thoughts that maybe it could, but it's one out of many things in the plane. They shouldn't believe it beyond all other things. But you know what? If it was gonna be a problem, it probably would have been that. But it's not everything. I've seen that many people in aviation have kind of colored it as it'll make the plane burst into flames. Not quite true. It affects, as far as I can tell, only affects one device, and that is radar altimeter. And nobody's actually witnessed it doing that. And it's been out there for a year. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but it probably means it's not very likely. So that covers all my list of initial stuff. Let's get to a little history and we'll move on.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we already did that. We need to go on to history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Well, we had I think in 1958, Sputnik actually came back and burned up in the atmosphere on this day. We also had another Sputnik, 2 or 3 or whatever, head off to the moon. Didn't quite make it. Went off into the ether. Had a bunch of stuff going on this day, but the one I wanted to talk about today was in 1972, Hewlett-Packard introduces the first handheld scientific calculator, the HP 35. The precision of the calculator was greater than most mainframe computers of its time. For such a technological achievement, the name of the calculator is simply derived by the fact that it had 35 buttons. And, of course, a great deal of companies, including Commodore, and a few others, I think it was MITS, who had all been around working on mechanical calculators, suddenly looked at what was going to be the end of the world for them and started deciding what they were going to do. And, of course, Commodore ended up making the PET and some computers and some other stuff when they bought MITS. I think it's, MITS. I think so. MITT. Can't remember now. Doesn't matter. Just they bought a company that designed calculator chips. I had a Bomar brain. I think I must have gotten that in 1974. But kind of hard to think that for $80 you could get something that actually had greater precision than a computer that weighed 10 tons and filled the room. But specialized devices. But Hewlett-Packard still making hand calculators after all these years. I do not know. Only the HP 35 was named for the amount of keys. So do not know. Only tiny lies in pharma and biotech apparently are allowed, where the rest of the market, you will have trouble sitting because you've already lied that portion of your posterior off. Okay, we got a couple of more things going on here, but I think that is it. Okay. Other questions I wanted to get to as we wait for the market to start winding back up for the new year. And the first one was, let's get to it here. We did those two. What else did we want to talk about? Anyway, second question, which I do remember, is about what in technology is a container. And we're not talking about all those containers left on the shore in Long Beach. We're talking about a different kind of container company. These companies are probably going to go public, and I think that's what the emailer was bringing up. We'll talk about what container companies are and what you should be looking for in the new year for those. As we return, like MacArthur.
Are you having fun trading the markets, but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The first question we have, before I get to the second question, from Hector. He's heir to the Holley carburetor fortune. Most people don't know that. Anyway, Hector asks, do you see fund buying playing out already and being done? How do you see options and chips during this month? And yes, I think we've got fund buying today. It is just all in the Dow stocks. And if you got a fund you got to have it invested. And if you have to push and shove, you can make your fund look good. You're probably going to go to stocks that have the least downside. And those are the ones that ran up the most or probably have the most downside. Those that are a little more on the lines of having a price earnings multiple in the teens, much more desirable. And I think that's what you're seeing a great deal today, is a rush to, I wouldn't not just say quality, but more to safety in those stocks. I think a lot of people are getting at them. And of course, over the last 30 days, we've had more insiders selling than any time in the previous 5 years. So that tells you a little bit about what's going on the tech side. So that's it. We're going to go to John in Philly. How you doing today, John?
David, I'm doing very well. Thanks for taking the call, and we are all very pleased. You're back in the saddle, sir.
Back where a friend is a friend.
Yes, so to speak. David, I wanted to ask you, please, about TLT and the U.S. long Treasury bond.
Yep.
Specifically, as we're coming down, where do you see supports? What are you looking for in the TLT as a point at which you'd have a guess anyway of a cessation of selling? And other than the start of the new year, the new calendar year, and possibly intentional sellers of TLT and the long bond waiting for a variety of reasons to do their activity only after the turn of the calendar, is there something else that you're onto that can tell us why sellers have come out in such force here and why buyers are non-existent?
I think that comments by the Fed folks over Christmas was kind of it. They're pretty much committed to raising rates, and sooner rather than later, and probably more aggressive. So that's kind of what I think. They've seen it's coming. Everybody, I'm trying to remember who. Oh, Warren Buffett. William Buffett says that a lot of people in the stock market are all acting like the Cinderella's ball, and they're all waiting for the stroke of midnight to get out at 11:59. The problem is they're in a room with a clock that has no hands, and I think everybody just kind of started, and they all are going to follow it. But I have a feeling that 136, 139, we could see that in a week.
That answers the question. I appreciate that. Follow-up question, and this is just kind of, this would be high-octane speculation on your part or mine. The question is the financial system and the stock markets sufficiently levered up that if, in fact, TLT and its corresponding U.S. Treasury long bond break the lows of March 2021, it would unleash essentially margin liquidation selling sort of thing? Is there any idea of that percolating around in your mind?
No, I think that 98% of the time the Fed's job over the last 100 years has been to slow down downsides. They haven't done much when it's come to irrational exuberance, but I think that they'll come in, they'll add cash when it gets moving too quickly to the downside and slow it down. All they care about is that stupid sentence that they always repeat and regurgitate, like Linda Blair, is orderly market. So if there's two things I hate, it's the orderly market which generally is not very orderly. And I heard it again today. I just had the TV on when someone was talking about total addressable markets. Two of the biggest,
Yep, exactly.
Two of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life. The second one, if for people that are not familiar with it, if you want to know how to spot the big lie in anybody's argument in Wall Street, it's total addressable market. Well, I've got this Frisbee. And, of course, there's 8 billion people in the world, so I could sell 8 billion Frisbees. Maybe people get multiple Frisbees. I'll sell more than 8 billion Frisbees.
David,
and the reality
just remember, we've got the space ETFs, so we can't disregard the off-planet population either. So there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just saying that it's that all they're going to do is slow the roll when it gets too much and too scary. And then you'll get a little bit, and everybody is going to assume that we're coming back. We just need to reprice for probably something in the 3 to 4% range for a while.
Very good.
I think
David, I appreciate your time as always. Good to hear your voice, sir.
It depends on which word they emphasize. If addressable is the emphasis, they are legit. Okay.
Bye now. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyway, no. The addressable. There. I've never heard anybody saying that was actually ever right. Let me put it that way. Okay. So we had that. Oh, a question about what's going on this year. I haven't written about it in the Tech Insider. Maybe I should put the warning I put out this morning as an update this morning to warn people in tech, because it looked incredibly brittle as we were opening up this morning. But anyway, a question about containers. And with a bunch of companies like Docker and Kubernetes and these other companies getting ready to probably go public this year, the emailer, well, now we're back into another break. I get ready to get in there, and they pull me back in. They pull me. Anyway, you got to just love The Godfather to get the reference. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we return, all I can think of, I don't know who sang the song, but all I can remember is I've seen better days and the bottom dropped out. And I would say that if you're going to be in technology, here was my warning this morning. All long trades should use an abundance of caution because I already said it. But Consumer Electronics Show going on today. Nothing new really to speak of other than Intel. So AMD and NVIDIA both rolled over pretty hard. Back to Docker. There's some other versions of software that do kind of similar things. But look for these. Kubernetes and Docker are kind of the big ones. Let's say that you write a program and it takes a certain version of the operating system and DLLs of a certain version. And of course, if you update your computer, maybe everything quits working. So what these things do is take all the files that are necessary and kind of lock them in a lockbox with Al Gore. Anyway, they put them all literally in a container. And these programs and the associated files from the operating system run like they're on a computer, and that's all that there is. So these things can be rather large. 25, 50 gigabytes is not unheard of for these long, large Docker deployments. But what they allow you to do is maybe make a website or create a program or a service that someone else uses. Let's say that maybe you have an API that just you sell the rights to the data to other companies who want to put weather reports on their websites, and all they do is poll your particular server for that data by zip code, and of course you send that back. That's called a service. But what you do is kind of break up your program that does something bigger into smaller things like services. You put them in these Docker deployments, and they become kind of isolated from the rest of the world. And as long as you fulfill your contract, which is you can ask by zip code, and I'm going to hand you back some text, and that's it. Then the complexity and the versions and all that stuff kind of melt away into the background. Docker, Kubernetes, all these programs make it easy to just kind of type a command, have all that big 50 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes or even half a gigabyte go up to a Microsoft Azure server or cloud services like Amazon Web Services or Google's Web Services or the rest. And in fact, a lot of these things are very smart. You can bid for services by the minute or by the hour. And so there's kind of an auction always going on in the background too. If you want to add additional help, let's say you got an ad running tonight or something on the Super Bowl, you're going to need a lot of power that night for your ad running and maybe people checking it out. So you want to spin up a whole bunch of these things to be able to to respond to everybody coming in. You can just say, hey, I want this Docker on 100 computers tonight with 100 servers and 100 database servers, and it kind of does it all for you. And of course, these are all kind of the same kind of a cookie cutter copies, clones of the original operating system. And if you do it right, this stuff just works, and it's pretty amazing. But Docker is kind of a lower level one. Kubernetes is kind of a, if you want to look at Docker as a stick shift car, Kubernetes is kind of a little bit more of an automatic with power steering, a few more features above Docker. But what they make it easy to do is move from one web service like Amazon's web services to Microsoft's web service to another web service without really having to worry about the underlying software that runs on it. Now, they do not run as well as if they were natively on a server, but if you're going to run an ad like on the Super Bowl, you got 3 or 4 or 5 hours where you're going to have probably 80% of your interest, and then maybe the next day you still have a lot more than you had the day before. But you can set these things up and just be able to actually respond when a ton of people come in. And whether you're dealing with 100 people today and maybe 1,000 people or 1 million and 50 million, these allow you to expand and contract your services very quickly over a number of services. And especially if you're talking about hourly, a lot of these servers are $5, $6, $7, $8 an hour. If you buy 100 servers or so, you could be talking about tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe Amazon tonight doesn't have as much business as Microsoft Azure, and you can you actually at night you can go on and auction and bid on services. And so anyway, look for that this year. It is a service where they charge bigger companies and smaller companies are free. So they want to see and help out the small guy. Hopefully he becomes real big and ends up throwing huge amounts of money at him. But kind of the whole idea of free software, this stuff is all open source. You can go and look at it. But they maintain it and sell it and help you. If you've got problems, they'll help you solve those at a fee. So it's kind of like a Red Hat kind of companies. But look for those to be public this year. I think they've grown well. And while we had a lot of big names in technology for web services, like DocuSign and other things like that, more likely we're going to see a lot more talk about these kind of companies, which add ease and reduce complexity of managing huge systems across multiple providers. 877-927-6648. And what else do we have here? Got a question about Microsoft. Okay, let's take a quick look. MSFT. Yeah, everybody just kind of coming back. Yeah, you can make a case for 3 tops. Last one, you had 2 tops with almost 30 million. The last one came in with about 15 million. Not a good look out here, but the end of the world, no. 315 is support on Microsoft. Could you go lower? Depends on the rest of the market, but I'd say it's still the biggest problem we have is the longer the Fed takes to rip the Band-Aid off, probably the longer these stocks kind of go sideways. 877-927-6648. Email me, and we'll get to it. I think that's it for you.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Citizen King at the bottom drop down. That's the song. I like it. 877-927-6648 if you can get to the phone in the next 15 seconds. Anyway, we're looking at Microsoft volumes a little better. Like I said, not probably the end of the world on this one, but in a bigger trading range, probably down to 312, 315-ish. And, of course, we've got the TLT, which is the big story of the day. As I said, I'm thinking 139 to 136, maybe 133, depends on how fast the Fed pulls the Band-Aid off. And, of course, once everybody figures out that the jig is up, they'll all want to get out at once. And then the Fed will come back and kind of back up on itself a little bit, try to slow that down, because that's historically, that's been their job. But no, I think the kind of move yesterday tells us everything we need to know. And, of course, the energy that we have is going to blow through the 141.45 low that we have back on October 11th. Only had 7 million shares. We're into that candle today with almost 16. So we're going to continue to see the bonds sucketh for this year. But you know what? Everybody will get back to some level and the market will figure out how to adapt, and we'll move forward. I don't know how long it's going to take, because I don't know how long the Fed is going to let take the Fed to let the air out of the balloon. But I think it could be at least a full quarter. So I'm not incredibly bullish here. I think there's some very specific stocks that could do well if you want to be long. But no, I think we've got some pretty significant selling coming at us. Some of it sector rotation, flight to safety, some other stuff. Anyway, we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. And remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.